Okay, so guys, we're just going to go through some questions for quadratic formula. Okay, so using the quadratic formula. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing in this topic, where you're going to be actually trying to solve for the solutions for the x values. Okay, so I'm just going to put up a question up on the board. X squared plus 5x plus 6. Okay, so you're going to have to use the quadratic formula to actually solve for the x values. The first step, how you're going to go about this question is, in the quadratic formula, you have this particular equation. So you have x is equal to negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. That's a very complicated formula. Okay, so you're going to have to use this equation over here and substitute values for b and this a and the c, and then end up solving. So it's a very straightforward process, and how you go about that is literally 3 steps. The first step is label. The second step is write down what you know. The third step is formula. And the fourth step is substitute. So just a few steps and then having to solve it. Okay? And that's how you go about this entire question. So let's start off with the first step, which is actually label. So A, B, and C, that was in the formula, represents the coefficient. So here you've got here A, that's your B, and that's your C. Now, the A actually represents the coefficient, right? So you can't see anything here. A lot of people assume that's going to be a 0. If it was actually 0x squared, then that will be 0 times x squared is going to be 0, right? So, in fact, that's not a 0. It's actually a 1. But we never write down, for example, if it says x squared, we don't write down 1x squared. Mathematicians won't write 1x squared. We just assume it's x squared. Okay? So your coefficient here is A, that's your B, and that's your C. And that includes the signs that come along with it. Now we've done the label. We're going to write down what we know. So A is equal to 1, B is equal to 5, C is equal to 6. So we've written down the second step is writing down what we know. The third step is writing down the formula. Okay? So the formula is negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Now, what we're going to do next is, so we've written the formula down now. The last step is to substitute. So this last step is literally copy and paste. So you're literally copying what we know, okay, and we're literally going to substitute it into the formula. So this part you have to be extremely patient. So I'm explaining it slowly right now, and there's a reason for that. It's because you're learning it for the first time, okay? But when we actually do this, and I'll do it in the next question, I'm going to go through it at the speed that should be done, okay? And that's still applying all those steps. So let's substitute. Negative b, so what's our b? It's 5. So negative 5 plus or minus square root, and then b squared. What's our b? It's 5. So 5 squared minus 4, and then I usually put that in brackets, and then 4ac, okay? 4ac, and the 4 is going to multiply with the a is 1, and then the c is going to be 6 over 2a. What's our a? It's a 1. Because it says that all in our know information. Okay, and that's equal to x. X is equal to negative 5 plus or minus 25. And that's going to be 4 times 6 is 24. So it's going to be minus 24 over 2. Okay, we can still simplify this even further. So I'm just going to write here negative 5 plus or minus square root of 25, take away 24, square root of 1 over 2. Now, what's the square root of 1? It's actually a 1. So now we've got, if we had space at the bottom, I'd be keep going down, but we don't have space. So I'm bringing it up here. So that's basically negative 5 plus or minus 1 over 2. That basically means plus or minus, meaning there's two solutions. Okay? So let's split this out. Negative 5 plus 1 over 2. And then we also have negative 5 minus 1 over 2. Can you simplify that? What's negative 5 plus 1? That's negative 4 over 2. Negative 5 minus 1? Negative 6 over 2. That's equal to negative 2, and that's equal to negative 3. So your two solutions are x is equal to negative 2, x is equal to negative 3. So looking back on this, the first step is labeling. A, B, and C. Be careful that that's an A there, that's a 1. The next step is writing down what you know. We've written it down here. A is 1, B is 5, C is 6. Positives, numbers as well. Third step is formula. Okay, so we've written down the formula. Remember to put the brackets, I just forgot to put it there. You don't have to put that step, but I would say it's really crucial, especially for those students who struggle with multiplying negatives and positives. So anyways, the fourth step is to substitute. Done this slowly, and you've got here negative 5 plus or minus, plus, and that's a minus at the bottom. 25 take away 24, and that's going to be root 1. We know square root of 1 basically means a number multiplied by another by itself again should equal to 1, and that's literally 1. Square root of 1 is equal to 1. Okay, if I said square root of 9, it's going to be a number multiplied by itself, which is 3 times 3. Now in this example, it's a weird one, it's 1. Then we've got negative 5 plus or minus 1. So now we split this up. Negative 5 plus 1 is going to be negative 4. Divide that by 2 is going to be negative 2, because a negative divided by positive is a negative number. And negative 5 minus 1 divided by 2 is negative 6 over 2 is negative 3. Then to write down your final answer is this. X is equal to negative 2 and x is equal to negative 3. Now, what does that look graphically? This is what it looks like graphically. Okay, so let's say this was your graph and it was to scale, which is clearly not, but assume that's scale. X is equal to negative 2. Let's say that's negative 1. That's negative 2. That's negative 3. So we know that the graph goes through like this, these solutions. Negative 2 and negative 3. That's what that means. You're solving for x, the x-intercepts. So like with linear equations, this is what you call, not a linear equation, because this is not a straight line. It's a curve over there. So it's called a quadratic equation. Okay, or this particular shape is a parabolic shape. We call that a parabola. So that's basically it. I'm just going to pause there, and I'm going to put up another question for you to have a go at. The next question that we're going to have a go at is x squared, okay, plus 4x plus 12. So this is the next question, x squared plus 4x plus 12. And this will be in the next video, okay? So I want you to have a go at that, and then I'm going to put this up next, so that's the next question. X squared plus 4x, sorry, not plus 12, it's a minus 12. Okay, I want you to use the quadratic formula to find out the two solutions for x, the two x values. Okay.